Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to LadyGang. I am Beccatobin here with jacvanek and Keltieknight.
And
Oh my God, Kelly.
Callie.
And Keltieknight.
She's got to get away. There you go.
Okay, well, let's dive right in. I can't wait to share mine. It's time for
Good week.
Yes, it is.
Bad week. Oh, no.
you guys. You know I love talking about ugly babies and ugly kids, right?
Yes.
Of course.
There's a man on Instagram, Andy Gold Comedy. All he does is post pictures of kids and roast them.
Amazing.
And it is solid gold, pun intended, because his name is Andy Gold.
Oh, I love it.
These pictures are a lot of them from kids from the 80s.
Oh,
and it is
It's not like your friend.
No.
Yeah, okay.
But it's really, really funny, and you have to watch him. I can't even describe how I was like snotting out my nose, the things he was saying about
Andy
these.
Gold.
Andy Gold. Okay.
I love him.
So my bad week is Zach and I were laying in bed one night, middle of the night. All of a sudden, the dogs start barking their faces off, and I hear Zach sit straight up and say, "Hey!" And the door to our bedroom, because we have a door to our bedroom out to the backyard, is flung open.
No.
It's pitch black, and the dogs are barking because the door just opened.
Oh, no.
And Zach is like, "Hey." I sit up at the same time, and within probably 3 seconds, we realize the wind. Oh, he had the gun. The wind has blown open the door because somebody had forgotten to deadbolt it.
Oh, shit.
And leaves are flooding into the bedroom.
Oh, my God.
But for 3 seconds,
You thought it was someone.
I thought, what would we do?
Right.
I know.
Well,
Like,
no.
what
Zach
do
would
you do?
attack. Zach would attack.
Zach would have
He
launched.
He was almost into launch mode.
If he was,
His,
there's no like
the hair on the back of his
subduedness.
head went
Just, it was so
That's
terrifying.
so scary.
Terrifying.
Oh my
he also
God.
told me that I had a very delayed wake up and reaction. In my mind, I heard the dogs, I heard the door, and I sat
You're
up.
up immediately.
But by the time he was up and said, "Hey," was when I actually did come to. So he was slightly concerned about my reflexes.
well,
that tracks.
if you're home alone and that happens, maybe they'll think you're already dead.
Hopefully.
So
Hopefully. It was so scary.
that's really, really scary.
Yeah.
Biggest nightmare.
I lost a year of my life for
Oh
sure.
my God.
One time I actually forgot to close my door after I got my Amazon groceries and I was home alone and I left my front door open all night and there were so many leaves inside, but also like I left my front door open all night.
Yeah, that's
I
pretty
gotta have a
insane.
gate. Anyway.
Jesus.
Oh.
I'm an idiot. Go ahead.
That's so scary.
I know. What a
Jeez.
dum-dum.
Okay. My good week is by proxy good week for my mom. Remember back in the day on the Apple iPhone, on the iPhone when they like forced us to have that U2 album?
Yeah, of course.
Like
Yes,
they put it on
yes.
every single
I think
phone.
it's still on my phone.
Okay, well, the other day my mom was like, you know what? Like I had nothing to listen to on my phone and I just started listening to that U2 album.
Did she really like
She's
it?
like, it's amazing.
Everyone was so pissed they didn't even want to give it a chance.
No, I know. I didn't. I was like, I hate U2. And I'm like, why do I hate U2? And I'm like, it's because
U2 is
they
great.
forced that album
Yeah,
on us.
U2 is amazing.
No, U2 is amazing. But it was just so funny. She was like, yeah, I just
Kinda great.
randomly started listening to it. And I looked what year that was. It was 10 years ago. So I'm like,
Justice for
10 years
U2.
later, they got it. They got my mom. They have one new fan.
Wow.
Isn't that
That's
so-
also so wild that they did
that.
downloaded this album to every single person's iPhone at the time.
I mean,
They were definitely doing an experiment if they could do that.
yeah, and
it was
honestly,
outrage.
it would have been great if it worked because if you would be able, anyway, music business 101. Go ahead.
That's my good week. My bad week. So last week I was going down Orange County and as I was getting ready to leave, I was in the sink looking around and I'm like, my sink is leaking fast. And then I forgot about it for a second. And then I turned my dishwasher on and then it started like really leaking. But I'm like, I got to get down to Orange County, but we have like a maintenance request that we can do.
Yeah.
So like I wrote in and I'm like, this is really urgent. Like it's leaking like a lot. Like I don't want my apartment to be flooded. I was like freaking out about it. And then I left and I like forgot about it. I was gone in
God.
Orange County for a couple days until like 3 days later. And I woke up from like a nightmare being like, I don't
sink
even
is
know if they took
leaking.
care of it.
Yeah.
Like in all of my designer bags are like by the floor. I was like really scared. And I had no idea because nobody emailed me if they fixed it or not. I get home and there's like a maintenance thing like on my door, like a little flag. And it said that they fixed it. And then there was like a note attached to it. And it said, everything under kitchen sink has been checked for leaks and wiped down. Leak was coming from the gallon of distilled water that was under the sink. So it was from a water bottle that I put under the sink. And I was freaking out. about it being the apartment's
So
fault.
you had a water bottle that had a hole in it.
Yes.
And you put it under the sink.
and it started leaking. And that was,
Why did you have a water bottle under your sink?
I don't know what we had. We had distilled water bottles for something.
You were doing an
Sinus
enema.
rinse?
Yes. Jared had one of those like neti pot things.
Yeah, I know it
But
well.
it was also very old.
Damn,
Zach.
you're good. Damn.
I'd be a good detective.
Yeah. Well, what else do you have distilled water for?
That's a great question.
That's literally
Wow.
it. But yeah, I was like so pissed. I was like, oh, this apart. Because sometimes they don't write me back. Like they're
Yeah.
not like the most
That
responsive.
was really risky of you to just leave
Leave.
it. It's like lighting a match and walking away.
I know.
When
I'm
you
like, there's
have a
gonna be black
home, we're going to
mold.
be not having that kind of behavior.
Well, I know I can't leave my house because it's my responsibility.
Hopefully you get, anyway. Yeah. Okay. Next. Speaking of home.
next.
Speaking of home. So, I've been really excited about my purse journey and being such a good, organized purse
Yes.
first in the club kind of girl. So I thought this is a great weekend for me to clean out my purse. It's been a few months, make sure all the little garbages or whatever's happening. So I empty everything out and then I go to my, my house is built into the hill. So I have a third story essentially, but it's like the living room.
Yeah.
So I decide to just empty my purse over the edge of the veranda or the thing because there's nothing in it. It's just all the little bits of seeds and like dust and like, wrappers or whatever's in there. Yep. And so I do it, but nope. Guess what was in it? My car keys. My car keys went and landed in a palm tree flawn sitting like up and so anyway, I had to go and do a whole thing to get the car keys. And I was like, this is what I get for trying to be organized because you know what?
It's not even that. You just are not thorough.
I'm not, well, whatever, Jack, but all I'm saying is that honestly, if my purse wanted to be clean, it would be self-cleaning. Like maybe I just need a few peanut shells in the bottom of a purse. Who cares? Stop shaming me, Earth.
Don't you have your little baggies so you
do,
don't get
but
junk in your
still
purse?
things get in there. I don't know. I'm
She's
trying.
messy. She's a messy person.
Here's the
She's messy.
Yeah.
You should see her bathroom right now. Yeah. It's like an explosion, or it looks like you had a home invasion.
Yes, I know. Okay.
How would you ever know?
That's my bad week. Here's my good week. So the other day, I'm opening the mail and Derek's opening the mail because that's one of his jobs. And he's opening it and he's like, oh, here's your parcel from Shein. And I was like, that's crazy because I don't shop at Shein. Like I've never shopped at Shein. No shame against Shein, but like it's not where if I'm going to buy cheap clothes, that's not where I go. And so I was like, that's weird. And then I open it and I was like, God, I don't know. Maybe this is something I ordered months ago and forgot in my sleep or something. It's like a green dress. And I'm like, this is so strange. Like how weird. And I was like, must have been, or it's a mistake. Yeah. They somehow had my name from something I bought 5 years ago. And then
mess.
Whatever. 2 weeks later.
Another Shein?
Another mystery. I've gotten 2 now. I have to tell you, I have no idea where they came from.
That's so
I did not
funny.
order them. Shein has sent me now a green stretch kind of TV looking dress, a pair of white skinny jeans in size 25, tiny, 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 like wouldn't even fit Mariana, like tiny, 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 a pink cardigan sweater and a cold shoulder blouse.
Oh, cold shoulder.
Do you think they want you to wear it on E?
I don't, but how did they get my address? And also, if you want me to wear it on E, would you send a skinny jean? A white skinny jean?
Or is it?
It's not even my size.
This is so weird.
Wait, that's so funny.
Yeah, so
I
don't
hope
know.
someone is just like
with you. Yeah.
I have no idea where it came from. There's no return label. It's at my
It
house.
says
Are
to
you
you?
being charged? Have you checked every credit card?
It's not charged to my credit card.
Wait, that's
Someone-
Does it say? But shouldn't it say whose name is on the credit
Shein
card?
does not give you a paper.
That's true.
It's not
That's
Net-a-Porter.
true.
It just shows up in the plastic bag, and you're like,
Wait,
whoa.
that's amazing.
Anyway.
This is like
It's a mystery.
It is a mystery. I'm
Let
into
me
it.
know if you work for Shein and you somehow got my email because you used to work at a different brand and now you're sending me PR. I'd love to get some PR and I'll wear it, but not a
this-
white skinny
yeah.
jean on TV. That's not my look. Okay, when we come back, an icon.
The Lady Gang.
Our guest today is a #1 New York Times bestselling author, the Emmy-winning and Grammy-winning actress and comedian icon. She's known for her quick wit and iconic decade-spanning career. We fell in love with her during her stint on TV's Suddenly Susan opposite Brooke Shields, and then we really fell in love with her hilarious reality show, My Life on the D-List. Don't I know all about that? She's been celebrated, honored with the Vanguard Award from GLAAD for her support of the LGBTAQ+ community, and she's one of the harshestly canceled celebrities during the rise of cancel culture. She's been on top and she's been on the bottom and she's crawled out of hell and she's here to talk all about it. She's got a brand new tour selling out across the country called My Life on the PTSD List. Please welcome to the Lady Gang, the iconic Kathy Griffin. Kathy!
Oh, what an intro!
Wait, I have to get your
What
water.
an intro!
She has it.
I have a water. I have icon water. It's special icon water.
Sorry.
It's icon water.
Yeah, it's just for icons, humble icons like myself.
Humble icons. Listen, I'm so happy you're here.
I'm thrilled
And
to be here.
I know you saw Sharon Stone.
The Sharon Stone interview went viral, and I was flipping around TikTok, and I kept seeing clips from it. So I wanted to do the show. That was a great interview, and I'm
you.
glad to be here, Lady Gangs.
I love this
love
so
it.
much. There's so much to talk about. I want to start with something very light. Working on Seinfeld.
Yes.
Because jacvanek has some anxiety and falls asleep every night to either Seinfeld or Curb Your Enthusiasm. Has
Yeah.
seen probably every episode 87 times. So go ahead, Jack.
No,
Ask
just
all your questions.
I mean, how is Larry David? Number one.
Okay, Larry David is just like this character, except he's maybe even more of a curmudgeon.
Really?
He's
That's what
actually,
I've heard, yeah.
it's actually a better version of himself that's on Curb Your Enthusiasm. It's his more polite self than the way Larry really is. And I got to be on Seinfeld, and I was a total unknown actress at the time. And so I went to the table read, and all these big stars are there, and obviously it's the famous cast of Seinfeld.
Yeah.
And, you know, Jerry was like kind of a dick. And so my stand-up is stories from my act, often involving celebrities I've met. So I went on stage. I did one of my first specials on HBO, now Max, then it was HBO. And I did a bit about Jerry Seinfeld, about what a dick he was. And sure enough, he saw it. And I was mortified because I got a call from my then agents and they said, Jerry Seinfeld sent you a letter, like an old-fashioned letter.
up.
And I have it framed in my bathroom.
Of course.
So he actually had a good sense of humor about me making fun of him. So they wrote another episode where my character becomes a comedian who just makes fun of Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah.
So I got to come back, my character of Sally Weaver. And that was really amazing because I walked on set. And here I am faced with this A-lister that I've just been ripping into. And I just hear from the darkened Seinfeld set. He's in the diner set.
Yeah.
And he's in one of the booths by himself just going, well, well, well.
Oh my God.
And I go, look what the cat dragged in. And so it was amazing. I got to be there the week they announced they were quitting the show. Oh my gosh. And Jerry would do warm up for the live audience. And all the other stars were just incredible. And it was really amazing to be on that show the week Jerry announced that he was leaving the show. And it was emotional. And the cast was all talking about how they were such a family. They would go to Jerry's Deli after every taping. Like, it was a special place.
Oh my gosh, I love
Wow.
that so. At
Also-
least you had a good sense of humor.
Yeah.
Very rare.
Yeah.
Very rare for an A-lister.
Yeah.
Most of them, they don't have one, or it takes many tries before they realize I'm really just kidding and I'm quite harmless.
Yeah.
How many times in your career have you gotten the dreaded call from your agent and a slap on the hand?
Oh, so many times. I've gotten slaps on the hand from the Television Academy.
Oh my
when
God.
I won my first Emmy. And I thought it was funny that all the award shows, everyone gets up there and they're like, I want to thank God for taking time to
'Cause he
make
cares.
sure I won this award. And so I just thought it'd be funny to turn that speech on its head. And I said, Jesus had nothing to do with this award. In fact, suck it, Jesus. This award is my God now. Well, there's the first time I got in like Hollywood trouble.
Oh, my
So the
gosh.
Academy wanted me to apologize. And of course I wouldn't. And I've been confronted by celebrities personally, very famously by the late, great Whitney Houston, who was not happy with me. And she came up to me when I was hosting the Billboard Music Awards, and she was going to go on next. And she came up to me and was waving her finger right in my face. And she was all sweaty, and she was obviously upset. And she just kept saying, don't you talk about me. Don't you talk about me. And waving her finger in my face with her bodyguard right next to her. So, and she went out and sang, by the way, and brought the house down. She didn't lip sync. She was amazing. So I went out to bring out the next act, and I just told the audience what just happened. Oh my God. I was like, you guys, Whitney Houston just scared the hell out of me. She just waved her finger in my face and said, don't you talk about me. So naturally, I just had to tell you guys that happened. So there's a story of my life in my mini cancellations before the big one 6.5 years ago.
Yeah. We're going to get to that, but I want to ask you, putting yourself back on the road. I know this is completely self-funded. There's no person behind the curtain of Oz.
No,
being
there's no sponsors. It's just Kathy Griffin, brought to you by Kathy Griffin.
What has it been like for you, and how healing is it to get back on stage and just be in front of audiences that love you?
Well, the title is kind of tongue-in-cheek, My Life on the PTSD List, because I actually have been diagnosed with PTSD. And I know that sounds weird because we think of it just being for combat veterans, but I talk about it a lot in the show because after the Trump scandal, besides the fact that like most of my friends ditched me and I didn't work for 6 years, and for a workaholic, that really messed with my head. And then I became addicted to prescription pills and I tried to take my life, which I never would have done if it weren't for the pills. So now I'm happily in recovery in AA. And then I got diagnosed with lung cancer, even though I never smoked. Which is typical. Just want to say typical. Of course, I've never smoked, and half of my lung is gone on my left side. So I kind of resent how you ladies are flaunting your 2 lungs in my face.
I'm so sorry.
Well,
I have a lot of flaws.
I hear you breathing, and I get it. You're so much better than me because of your 2 lungs.
Well, Keltie's losing her uterus, so
that's something,
My
right?
uterus
That's
is
something.
gone.
It's almost-
my
it's not
fallopian
long,
tubes
but-
are so jealous.
Yeah, exactly. Let's just take it down a notch.
Yeah.
And so,
Fertile bitch.
yeah, how dare you?
I don't know that.
Right in my face. And so that's why I talk about this stuff in the show. And I ask the audience, have you guys ever been affected by addiction in any way? Well, everybody claps. Have you been affected by cancer in any way? Everybody claps. Then I say, have you guys lost anyone either on Facebook or in your real life to MAGA or QAnon? And people clap at that too. So I make fun of the way the QAnons think I went to Epstein Island with Tom Hanks and Madonna and Robert De Niro, and that we're harvesting baby parts and making face cream out of it. Because you have to laugh at that. And the fact
I would buy it.
The
I'm not gonna lie.
adrenochrome.
if someone does have a
wrinkles.
formula, I am open to
you
it.
do look good.
I do. It might be one of my secrets. Who knows? But like, you just have to laugh at all of it because it's just so much. And I also feel like I have my issues that I talk about. I have some good celebrity stories. I went to Paris Hilton's Christmas party. That alone
Is like hours.
is like an hour. I mean, it was like a
Did
time
you go
warp.
in the room where it's just all of her magazine covers as her wallpaper?
We weren't allowed in the house.
Oh, okay.
Because there was like police stanchions and caution tape. So it was a little cold. So a few of us, Sia and I, snuck into the pool house.
Okay.
And we're still nervous that we're in trouble from that.
Okay.
Because we were looking for secret cameras.
Yeah.
But I did love how Paris had kiosks selling her stuff. So it was
Selling?
a party.
Yeah.
But also it was advertising her cookware.
Of course.
Which of course she's known for. She's not.
She's a huge
But
cook.
she's a brand.
This is
Yeah.
amazing.
And I'm pissed that I'm a person because I'd rather be a brand.
Yeah,
That's
no
my
kidding.
mistake.
I
I've been
know.
wasting my
You were
time
two-person.
being a person.
Yeah.
When really I should be a brand like the Kardashians and James Charles was there.
Oh,
and
tell me more.
Rosie O'Donnell was there as my date. And Rosie went up to James Charles and accidentally said, "Oh, aren't you that guy, Jeffree Star?"
No.
And I tell that story on stage, and the whole audience goes, like the audience, they don't even laugh, they just gasp.
Yeah.
And let me just say, James Charles did not take that well.
I can
Really?
imagine.
So I was trying to calm him down, going, she's a lesbian. She doesn't wear makeup. She's not responsible. You can't be mad at her. She doesn't know the makeup game is a part. She can't tell. It's not. And James Charles kept going, oh, Jeffree Star. Oh, he only ruined my whole life. That's all. So it was
right.
like.
I forgot there was all that TikTok. Yeah.
So much
Yes.
trauma.
So much
So
trauma.
it's all going down at the Paris Hilton Christmas party. So I still have my celebrity stories peppered in there. Trust
Oh
me.
my God, I
Kathy,
love
let
it.
me ask you this because we're big Housewives fans.
Yeah.
And we, Dorit's big Dorit for Beverly Hills, she had a home invasion.
New York.
No.
Dorit Hensley.
yeah.
Yes.
She's in Beverly Hills. She had a home invasion last season,
Right.
and this season has been about her dealing with her PTSD.
Yeah.
And I think, like, you're right. When we think of PTSD, we think about people who can't hear loud noises because it sounds like
Combat zone.
war or something like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? But like, what does PTSD when you were like universally hated across the world and like your entire life and then I know your mom passed away. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Your sister
My
passed
sister
away.
died, yeah.
You had lung cancer. Like, what does that feel? How does that live in your body? Is it
It did live in my
sleeplessness?
body.
Is it like what?
My form of PTSD is really physical. And so I kind of kept it in, but I was over, using prescription pills.
Yeah.
I then tried to take my life by overdosing. I didn't. I ended up in the hospital on a 5150 cycle for 3 days, like Britney and Kanye combined. Right. So I basically walked into my own act by doing that. Wow. But that did get me into sobriety, which was key.
Yeah.
Then I could kind of sort out my life.
Right.
And after my cancer surgery, in which I was injured, so I now have a permanently paralyzed left vocal cord, and I have an aperture above my vocal cords. So when I do stand up, my pitch is a little bit higher in my voice, which I'm kind of self-conscious about. Yeah. So it's been like a litany of things. And in my case, when my PTSD made it such that I can't stop vomiting. And I know that's gross, and I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
But when you go day after day where no matter what, you're just vomiting, you can't do anything. You can't even leave the bed. You can't move. And I was that sick off and on for 10 months. And that really scared the hell out of me because I didn't exactly know what was going on. Then they said, it's the PTSD. And in you, that's the way it comes out. Wow. So I have a team of people trying to put Humpty Dumpty back together again. Yeah. And I talk about all this on the tour, about how I've got a Kundalini yoga instructor. I, get on all fours and meow like a kitty cat and moo like a cow. I don't care how stupid I look. I have an acupuncturist. I do that cupping where it's like a vampire sucking the blood out of you. Yeah. I have no idea if it works. It probably doesn't. I do all these things just because somehow all together they worked and they got me to like be up and running again. Yeah. But I make fun of it because some of it's woo-woo. Mm-hmm. Some of it's like regular, like, old lady meds, like my blood pressure medicine or something like that. But I'm just doing all the things. It's the yoga, it's the breath work class, whatever it takes. And then somehow when showtime happens, I'm fine. And it's a muscle in me. I've been doing it for so many decades that even if I'm having an anxiety attack during show day, something happens where I start to put my makeup on. It gets close to showtime. And when my feet hit that stage, I just relax and I'm home. Ugh. I love it. I love it so much. And the audiences have been so loving because I think most of the people come into the show, they know at least part of it. They either know about the Trump thing or they know about the cancer. I filed for divorce 75 days ago as if my life wasn't chaotic enough. Right. And I, didn't think that would be happening, but it just kind of did. And so I'm just rolling with the punches. And like I said, I feel like audiences are in a place where we're all kind of rolling with punches. Mm-hmm. Yep. There's a lot of division going on with people's relatives, whether it's political or religious. There's topics that we are afraid to even talk about because they're so sensitive. And so I get on stage and I go, okay, I'm going to say a bunch of stuff that's inappropriate. Yeah. You can groan, and I'm learning too. One of the things I don't want to say, because people ask me all the time about cancel culture. And in my case, I don't even like to refer to it as canceled because I was investigated by the Department of Justice. Cancel to me is like you have a couple of months where you stay off social media, right? Yeah. I was put on the no-fly list. I was in the middle of a 50-city tour, and the rest of the 25 cities had to cancel on me because every theater got such strict death threats and bomb threats, et cetera. And, to have my own industry really blacklist me has been really painful. And I think it's turning around now, and I don't know why, but I think it's somehow like enough time has passed. Because now the most common thing I hear from even people just walking down the street is, I may not have liked that picture, but the fallout you had was way too much and way over the top. It didn't happen to any of the guy comics. I don't think it would have happened if I was a guy comic. I didn't have any institutions at the time. I wasn't on a TV show. I wasn't on Bravo anymore.
No one was, there was no big network to protect you. Sure.
Right. And I tried to clarify my position, and that was a mistake.
Yeah.
And, it's funny because we were talking about Sharon Stone and what a great guest she was. And I talked to her, and she said, I think this is going to take 5 to 8 years to calm down. And I said, you're crazy.
Right. And you were like,
No
not
way.
in my
6
worst
months,
nightmares.
6 months.
Yeah.
And she was right. It took 6.5 years.
Well, I think it's really interesting, and we've talked about this a lot, is that, there was this time where it was so important for everyone to be perfect.
Yeah.
Like you could not even toe outside the line
Yep.
without it being, and I think it was mid-pandemic, everyone was laser focused, everyone's attention was just, and they had no control over anything.
Yeah.
So we started to really control all the public voices for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Now I think what's happening, and it's taken this long, is that authenticity is key.
Yeah.
Owning the stuff you did wrong.
Yeah.
I think you would change some things.
I'd changed so many things.
right.
You have no idea.
Of course. But like owning that and being able to get up on stage and be like, hey, I'm still Kathy.
Yeah.
The reason you fell in love with me in the first place for the first 3 decades of my career is because I said things that you were thinking that you didn't have the courage to say. And now you're back. The wheel has turned, and now you're back being celebrated for being that person again. And it was a weird climate. It was a weird time. And so I'm so happy you made it through.
Oh, thank you.
Like, on behalf of all the fans and people who have loved you, if you're a pop culture lover, you grew up with you being one of the narrators of pop culture.
I
in
call
so many
everybody
ways.
out.
Yeah.
And even people that aren't my friends, like we were talking about Sharon Stone. I saw you at her birthday party.
Yeah.
And it's so gratifying for me as I get older. I'm 63 now. And honestly, the best compliment I can get is when someone from my act laughs or comes up to me and says, and I've had this with everybody from Miley Cyrus to, Bette Midler, as someone come up and go, oh, you were just kidding. Like, you weren't being mean. You were just giving me the business, as we used to say, or my mom would say, giving you the business.
Oh, I love that. I'm just giving you
Just giving you the
business.
business. I'm just giving you the business.
Yeah.
And I think that there is a place for that too. But as a comic, I also want to evolve. Look, there's stuff in my specials from 20 years ago I would never say now.
Yeah.
Like,
Of course,
I just
yeah.
totally, let me tell you something. The 90s and the 2000s were a vicious time for stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
Like the edict in the industry was go for the jugular. Everybody was getting roasted. Remember, every week there was a new roast.
Yeah.
And it was, if you're a woman, it was your dry vagina. It was like you go the lowest of the low. And, I don't think that's always great either. I like to tease people, but I think it's good that we're coming to a place where you are more conscious of, look, if I'm going to talk about Britney Spears, I am going to say, I know that this is a woman with a mental illness. I'm not making fun of that. I'm making fun of everything from some of her followers of the Free Britney movement say things that are funny because they're very, how shall I say, passionate.
How should I say?
Look, I'm human. I do look at her Instagram and I do get worried.
Yeah.
I feel like we raised her.
Yes.
And I want to make sure she's not just dancing alone in that house. I want to go to her house and dance with her a little bit.
Yeah.
But, I still keep an eye on stuff and I still call people out and people still get mad. But there's a place for both. So the sensitivity, but also you got to have some fun with each other and you got to have a sense of humor about yourself.
Oh, yeah.
I have a question.
Yes.
I want to know, when did people from the industry that turned their backs on you start coming back? Did they start coming back? And were there apologies? Were there explanations? Like, where are you at with
I
that?
haven't seen you in so long. And you're like, yeah,
What are you
bitch,
even
you
up
could have
to?
reached out.
Yeah, I know. No, it's kind of funny because nobody came back. There were no apologies. And when I run into people now, look, I've just decided, part of being in AA and 12-step is you kind of, sometimes it's called you practice restraint of the pen and tongue, which I, of course, never did. But now so many people have come up to me and, all right, I'm just going to be honest, and just acted like they had my back and they were nowhere to be found. So I could either go up to the 100 people that I've seen just in the last few months who have been like, oh my God, you're doing so great. I'm so happy you're back on the road. It's about time. And I just didn't stop any of them and go, a call from you would have been nice.
Yeah.
Or if you're a producer, could you have just given me 5 lines in something, in anything, And so no apologies. As far as people coming back, I don't know that I'm back yet. I would love to do a special. And I think the fact that I don't have anybody ask me to do a special means I'm not quite uncanceled yet. So I'm still biting and scratching way back from the D list. But I feel like if that happens, it'll be kind of official.
Yeah.
But I think some of the buyers are still nervous. The material's getting there, and I love trying new stuff. So I do miss doing specials.
You're going to get one.
I
It's
hope so.
happening.
100%.
Absolutely.
What do you want? You know, we have so many listeners around the world, and their need for resilience is probably not as dire as yours was with what you've gone through. But I think all women and all people, you know, they have their stuff, right?
Yeah.
So whether it is a woman who's having divorce, she lost her dream job, she's lost a parent, she's lost a sister, she's lost whatever that she's played too hard in the Percocet drawer, like whatever those, or maybe someone, what do you want our listeners to know about resilience?
Okay, number one, try to find the humor in every single thing, no matter how dark, no matter how twisted. You know, like I make jokes about my cancer all the time because it's supposedly this forbidden topic. But I'll say to my assistant, okay, if I can't get a good table at Nobu, tell them my cancer came back. And it's just a way of like being horrible and inappropriate. But I have to laugh because it was real. And I feel like if stuff is real, it's on the table. Like I can't tell you how many times I've been at the oncologist and they're like, Miss Gifford, Miss Kathy Lee Gifford. And it's like right here. I'm not even correct them. I'm like, yep, Miss Gifford right here. Happened again. And I just think that stuff is hilarious. And number two, lean on your girlfriends. My girlfriends have been so there for me, and you're good friends, not the ones that ditched me after the Trump thing, but I've kind of curated some newer friends because I now know who's naughty and who's nice. Yeah. And you'll instinctively know. Like, for example, on each leg of the tour, I bring a girlfriend along just to keep me company. And we have a coffee clutch in the morning, and we laugh, and she'll hang out backstage with me before the show. And then she'll go in the audience and be like, okay, you have 40% gay guys, you have 40% women, you have 20% mystery. You know, like we just laugh about all of it. And so I would say, find the humor and lean on your good friends.
Wow, I love that.
I love that. All right, when we come back, we have to know some pop culture things. All right, we're back with Kathy. She is on her tour right now, My Life on the PTSD List. You can get tickets at kathygriffin.net. I want to know if you'd ever do the Golden Bachelorette.
Oh my God. I made a TikTok commercial for the Golden Bachelorette.
Good.
And the funny thing is I was married when I made it. Oh. So I was making a joke about like, oh, don't worry about the husband. I'll ditch him if I'm the Golden Bachelorette.
Yeah.
Then I am actually getting divorced. So I'm 100% available to be the Golden Bachelorette.
I would die.
And also I have an insane body. Can we just talk about my body?
You're like the tiniest little thing I've ever seen in my life.
I have a bang bikini bod. I'm happy to be in a thong or pasties and make them twirl different directions.
How tall are you?
5'3".
Me too, you guys.
Right?
All I talk about on this podcast is how insecure about my height I am.
Yes, I want to be 5'8".
But you came walking in through Keltie's living room, and I thought that is a banging bod.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
You've got
ridiculous.
a banging
Because I
bod.
work out all the time.
It's ridiculous.
Because of my PTSD, I work out like a fiend.
What do you do?
I do a 2.5 hour walk every day, and I do Pilates twice a week.
You look great.
Well, I know.
I love you.
Listen, if life goes to shit, spend that time in the gym, baby. It's good for the
That's
brain.
right.
It's good for the
Absolutely.
bod. And
Good
what's
for the
good for
old
the bod
noggin.
is good for the brain.
That's right.
I want to know if you would ever consider or having a world in which some sort of version of Fashion Police came back.
Yes. I think the way to go is you have to, I think, make fun of the people. And I'll tell you why. The fashions are so perfect. You know, they have the greatest stylists, the greatest designers, the greatest hair and makeup people. By the time these stars get to the red carpet, you're really looking for stuff to make fun of. Yeah. I think it's funnier to say, have someone do the fashion commentary that's an expert.
Right.
Don't have them trying to be funny. And then I would be the person making fun of the celebrity and maybe something they've said, but in a fun way, not like, oh, they look like crap.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
just like, oh, look who showed up without her so-and-so that she was complaining about on social media. Like,
Right.
there's a way to just research the celebrities. And also, I think there's something fun about asking celebrities a little bit different questions. So I would ask who's ever on the red carpet instead of who you're wearing, who you come here with. Just ask them random pop culture questions. You know, like, have you heard the new song by Northwest? And ask that to like a really serious actor.
Yeah.
Like Paul
that's
Giamatti.
amazing.
Yes.
And just get his opinion on it.
Yeah.
And then you could play with that in the fashion police part of it.
I think it would be fantastic. And I want to say, when I think of you, I think of the very famous sort of section of Joan Rivers' documentary when she was so mad
Yeah.
that you were taking all the jobs.
Oh, she was so funny. She would yell at me and Betty White. She would say, and this is Joan's joke, but she'd say, because Betty White was a dear friend of mine and Joan's, and she was one of a kind. And Joan would go, Betty, that cunt, she's taking all the jobs. Ridiculous. She's not the only old one. So yeah, in her movie, A Piece of Work, Joan does a funny bit about how I'm taking all of her gigs. And I miss her every day. She was one of a kind. Fashion Police was iconic. Now, I will also say, let's be honest.
It couldn't exist now.
You could not do those jokes now.
Yeah.
For
Oh my
real.
God,
For
no.
real. Like
Yeah.
so that's what I'm saying is you have to figure out how to kind of comedically go a little different direction,
Yeah.
but you should still do a show that's the definitive place to go for fashion, because that's what I did like about Fashion Police.
Yeah.
Everybody kind of waited to see what Joan would say. And also Joan really knew those designers. She put
She
those
was
designers
so
on the map.
cool. Right. And she was so like this. I mean, I don't know her whole story, but she seems so like Upper East Side New
Yes.
York. Like she actually could shop at Bergdorf's.
Oh, yes,
So it was
honey.
like, oh, well, when she was reading your Prada, you were like, because I bought the other bag and that was
Yes.
the right choice. And
She
you kinda,
really
like,
owned that stuff.
And there was something like, I remember when I first started in TV and Joel McHale had the soup.
Yeah.
And it was like an honor to
Yeah.
be roasted by
Yes.
Joel on the soup.
Thank
like,
you
it
for
was
saying
like,
that.
please, God. Like,
He
it was
got
like you
huge
made it.
guest
Yeah.
stars to come on
Yeah.
as he was roasting them.
Like
Yep.
when he would be like, what the hell? I used to always, and Jimmy Kimmel did that bit where he would like bleep the news. So he would take all the news reports of the week and then he would put like where there were no
Yeah.
like it was so funny. And,
Yeah.
and you know, I think it will be nice. I think when the pendulum swings one way,
Right.
it has to come back.
Yeah.
And I do think it's like there was some people, it's an honor to be roasted or be in the pop culture, or like, you know, when we started LadyGang, I used to always do this bit about like that it was an honor to lose a Who Wore It Better.
Yeah.
You know, because I just was like, well, you're f***ing talking about me.
Exactly.
Like, I'm thrilled.
I'm photographed. I'm in the picture
Yeah.
as long as the hair and makeup is good.
Yeah, like, you know, yeah.
But you're right. That's one thing I have to be honest, as a comedian, and I know it's a big trend now, I don't like it when the host makes a joke and they cut to the celebrity and they're rolling their eyes.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry. I don't like
themselves
that
so
trend.
seriously.
Because people these celebrities have to realize the reason we're roasting you, whether it's the host or somebody like me talking about it later, is because you're showing up in a $200,000 dress. You've had the studio pay thousands of dollars for your hair and makeup. Your shoes were thousands of dollars. You've got a limousine. You've got your assistant and team helping you. You're winning. Okay,
Yeah.
you
You
won
won. Everyone's punching
the
up.
lottery.
Yeah.
So I consider that punching up huge.
Yeah.
So I have to say I don't like that trend of cutting to the celebrity and then the celebrity either taking the slow sip or eye rolling. I'm like,
Also, how-
just go with it. It's one joke. You'll live.
I know, it's like
Yeah.
not going to kill you.
Right.
And none of them are that good
I'm
anyways.
so codependent. I wouldn't want the host to feel like disappointed in my
so you.
reaction.
That's so
I would
you.
be like, "You're killing it."
I'm an asshole. Yes.
But I just
yes.
it's true. It's like this weird thing going on, and I wonder why they keep trying though, because the Oscars.
Well, that was
Because when they do it and it's someone who's like
Game?
the Cillian Murphy and what's his face from Succession? Culkin.
Kieran Culkin.
Kieran Culkin.
Yeah.
When they do it,
Yeah.
it's fucking hilarious.
Right,
like
right.
they pan to Pedro Pascal and Kieran Culkin, because
Yeah.
they've been they were against each other all award season. And Kieran would get up there and be like, you Pedro, and then they'd go to Pedro and he would be like,
Yes.
It was a bit.
Last night
Yeah.
when Kimmel was making fun of Robert Downey played along.
Yes.
It was
And
great.
so did Steven Spielberg, which was
Yeah.
really what you want to see.
Yeah.
So that's all I would have to say is A-listers, take it from your D-lister who's making fun of you right to your face. Just smile.
Yeah.
Just go with
Stop
it.
taking yourself so
Take it very- I've been on
seriously.
every worst dress list that I've ever gone to. It doesn't matter if I'm in Oscar de la Renta, I'm on the worst dress list. I survived.
Yeah.
That's not why I have PTSD. I think it's funny. I used to have them laminated and put them on my refrigerator when I was worst dressed. Come on, relax, everybody.
You save all yours.
I have
too.
a whole binder of
Yes,
worst dressed. I'm
good
like,
job.
I'm just like, I was there.
Yep.
By the way, all
think
of
it's
you
an
wishing
honor.
you could get to Hollywood, I was there.
That's right, proof.
Jenna Dewan looked better, but that's fine. That's fine. I want to ask you about like just about the people who showed up for you.
Yeah.
And have shown up for you.
Aubrey Plaza, when I got canceled, and like I said, I was, being interrogated by the Department of Justice under oath. They were considering charging me with conspiracy to assassinate the President of the United States. And they were very serious about that charge. And it was a really frightening time because I was running what they call murder rooms with my lawyers, practicing, because my lawyer wasn't allowed to interject when I was being interrogated by the feds. It's just a rule they have. And I was interrogated by the U.S. Attorney's Office and the Secret Service, so two agencies within the DOJ. And so my lawyer said, if you screw this up, you're going to jail. So it was like important that that moment happened. And so I can just say, prepping for that was very stressful. It was very real. It was very serious. I was getting calls from senators who were saying, I can't be seen with you. It was a crazy time. And Aubrey Plaza said, can I come over? And I was just sobbing in my PJs. I was like, I haven't taken a shower for 2 days and people think I'm a terrorist and this picture's already in Iran and Moscow and China. And she came over with a casserole like it was the 50s. And we just laughed. And I almost don't even remember all of it because I was like crying and she was being sweet. And so people that showed up, I will remember that casserole the rest of my life. And you're going to laugh, the very night the Trump picture went live, because when I took that picture, I took it with a bunch of other wacky, over-the-top pictures. One, I'm spoofing Kim Kardashian, who lived next to me at the time. And I could do a whole special just called Living Next to Kim and Kanye, because that was amazing. And when that picture went live and it went to TMZ, I thought it was going to end up like an art gallery. I'm serious. I didn't think it was going to go to TMZ. And TMZ has a relationship with the Trump White House, so that's how it got memed and sent around and all that stuff. But I also did a press conference I wouldn't have done because I felt the need to clarify.
But when you're in it,
you're getting all kinds of advice.
and you're like, I just want them to hear my side,
Right.
and hear I'm a good person.
And that was a mistake I made. I should have just practiced for my interrogation and just done that. But the night of the picture, over for dinner, my guests were Melanie Griffith, Rita Wilson, and Kris Jenner. And I was in my PJs sobbing and I was going to cancel and I'm so glad I didn't. So we ordered in and I was a wreck. And it was just kind of funny because Kris kept saying, oh, just apologize. My kids do stuff like this all the time and they just apologize. And it was just like a wacky girls' dinner. And even though my life was falling apart, just having those three women of a certain age, because that does matter, just being like, you're going to get through this.
Yeah.
And look, it took a while, but they were right.
I want to talk about something a little bit hard because everything has been so light so far. But I know you are newly going to be divorced or filing for divorce. I'm so sorry about that.
Oh, it sucks.
But so many, I'm a divorcee myself, but now remarried. But what do you want our girl to know? Single girls or engaged girls or newly married girls, what do you want them to know about relationships and marriage that you wish someone can just slap you over the face?
Okay. It's all about the guy being a nice guy and a good person. And I hate to say this, but it's about how he treats you. And the reason I'm saying that is some women have these lists, like I'll be watching The Housewives of Orange County or something. And they're like, well, he's got to own 3 businesses and he's got to do this. He's got to have this much money. Don't be too concerned about the money.
I used to have that list.
The
It was
list.
tall, makes over this amount of money. And it's those are the things that do not matter at all.
Right. And I think it's so much about how he treats you and it's about him respecting you. And my situation in my marriage became untenable, and I didn't ever want to get up because I thought I'd be with him forever. So that's my takeaway, is being treated with respect and somebody you can just really be yourself with and have fun with. But it's kind of about having your antenna out for the nice guy and the good guy, not the flashy guy, not the guy with this kind of car necessarily. By the way, try to find a guy with a job. I'm not saying like he should be a loser, but just keep in mind, at the end of the day, it's really about you guys hanging out and how he treats you. And if he doesn't treat you with love and respect, it's not going to get better. It's going to get worse.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yep.
Scary warning.
Amen.
Isn't that so crazy?
And keep your money separate no matter what.
Yep.
Always. Always listen to Susie Orman. If you don't listen to me, at Susie Orman Show.
She's the best.
She is the best, man.
She's amazing.
She has been keeping an eye on my money for years.
Wow.
And my house is paid outright. I have no debt. And let me tell you something, ladies.
And to
save
not
your
work
money
for all those years.
because I saved my money for a rainy day and it poured.
Yeah.
It rained for 6 freaking years. So save your money, ladies. Don't be embarrassed about socking it away. You don't always have to have the latest handbag. Like, sock it away because you don't know when you're going to need it.
Wow. Susie Orman.
Susie Orman, man. She's
we
the
need
best.
to have her on.
Seriously.
I know, we'd be great.
She's amazing.
I would love it. Okay, my very last thing is I'm a big manifester.
Okay.
Every year, at the end of the year, well, on the last episode of the year, I make these girls unwillingly, and we're almost 10 years deep, sit and manifest their new year.
Okay.
And then in August, I pretend it's the end of the year and we review. But since it's mid quarter one, I'm going to add Kathy to the list. So I'm going to check in with you. I'm going to grab your number.
Yeah.
I'm going
Good.
to call you in August when
Okay.
we do our half yearly check-in. I'll be
Okay.
like, Kathy, how's it going? So, we manifest these things, and it can be work related, be love related, be health related. It can be really stupid, like stop drinking Diet Coke or get bangs, like whatever those things are going to be. So I want you to manifest 3 things for Kathy 2024.
Okay.
And I'm going to check in with you in a few months.
All right.
So what do you want? The tour's a success. You can't say
Can't
successful
say tour.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I actually have one big one.
Okay.
Oh, great. Even
And
better.
Just one big one. I long to be, fresh off my divorce, I long to be one of these women of a certain age, because like I said, I'm 63, who's just happy with myself. Not being lonely, which I kind of am now, I admit. Not feeling alone, which I kind of do now. But like I said, I have a gorgeous house in Malibu that's paid off. I have 4 dogs that I'm so in love with. I take them on the road with me. I have a female tour manager who's badass and kick-ass. I have like a team now that I finally put together. So I just need to learn I have everything. I don't need to feel like, well, without a man, I'm missing the big link. And so I'm not there yet, but that's what I want by August. I want to say, oh yeah, I remember when I was back lonely and crying all the time. No, I feel great now. In fact, I love when Linda Evangelista, that model, I love when she goes, I don't even want to hear a guy breathing next to me in bed. And I just think that's so funny. So I like the trend of women my age saying, I'm enough.
Yeah.
I'm Knuff. I'm basically Ken from the
You're
Barbie
Knuff.
movie.
You're
Yeah.
Knuff,
I'm Knuff.
Kathy.
So that's what I want to manifest.
I love
Your
that.
girlfriends that have that. I imagine Sharon is one of those.
Sharon Stone has
Yeah.
it. Kristen Johnston has it. Jane Fonda has it. And I went to Jane Fonda's house right after I filed for divorce. And I called the bat phone. I picked up the bat phone. I needed Fonda. She said, KG, come over. She's fine without a dude. Sharon Stone doesn't need a dude. I want to be open. If someone comes in my life, that's fine. But I don't want to be feeling sad and lonely and alone because I'm really taken care of within my own sort
Do
of
they
little
tell you
life.
how to get there?
They say that the longer you do it, which I'm getting there as we speak, the more you realize, oh, like the house is quiet. I don't have some guy picking on me. Like, oh, that's a big improvement. Or, oh, I have a show and nobody's like putting me down. Oh, that voice is gone. Like, not saying that happened in my case.
You realize how annoying men are.
I mean, I'm just saying those things that I'll be honest. I have to literally remind myself of the bad parts of the marriage.
Yeah.
Sure.
And just saying, you don't have to do that today.
Yeah.
And so when I was talking to Fonda and Sharon Stone and Kristen Johnston, they did think of the times you were in relationships that you were more lonely than you are now.
Yes.
And I've been there.
And it was
Oh my
so
God, yeah.
much work.
It's so much work.
Yeah.
And so it's, learn to like myself. I know that's really woo woo, but learning to go, hey, I really do just want to watch like docuseries about cults on Netflix with my dogs at night. Like,
Right.
twin flames and a dog, and
Yeah.
I'm happy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe a pizza.
Amen.
And also
I like
to
what
mean it.
Yeah.
Yes, to mean
Because
it.
like we're
To
told
mean
this in the headlight or the highlights of like learn to love yourself. Like we're also
it's hard.
being from
Yes.
the millennials. Like we're part of the generation that was like girl power. Like we grew up on Spice
Yeah.
Girls, so we were just told like you just love yourself. But then the separation between like I love myself and actually in your day-to-day
Yep.
life.
Yep.
Loving yourself
It's
and
hard.
treating yourself like a prized possession
And
are
treating
two
yourself
completely
with
separate-
respect.
Yeah.
Two completely separate things.
Yeah.
I like what you just said, where you think about the times in your marriage where you were not happy or the things you didn't want to do, and you get to say, I don't have to do that today.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I don't miss that part.
That's great.
Yeah.
I don't miss that part.
Yeah.
So it's okay to be honest because, I also have some shame about like staying in the marriage for so long. And, I could beat myself up about that. But instead, like I said, I just have to look around. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah.
I love you guys. I love this show. I think it's really, really good. And so it's just like taking those moments to be like, hey, I'm not at home crying. I'm here with you guys having fun. Awesome.
Yeah.
This is a win. I won already today.
Hell
We
yes.
won. We're the
You
winners.
definitely win.
The Lady
And you
Gang
can all
won.
win. Probably sold out. But head on over to kathygriffin.net. You can follow Kathy if you're not already at Kathy Griffin. Also, Kathy Leon Hoda is her show. I'm just kidding.
Big success.
You can visit, grab tickets to the My Life on the PTSD List tour. New cities are being added all the time. I know the cities are up on your website. I checked it out. Let's go support our resilient queen and loved this conversation.
Yeah.
Thank
Happy
you,
you're back.
ladies.
Sorry I didn't know you. We could have brought you a casserole because, but like really excited to see what this next era brings you.
Oh,
and
thank you so
congratulations
much.
on making it through and now building the fire.
The other
again.
end. I'm coming out the other end.
Yes, you did.
All right, good.
Hell yes.
And we will
See you next Tuesday.